MapReduce. I'm going to tell you each and everything about MapReduce in Python. So please watch the video till the end and leave your questions, whatever in the comment. I am going to answer you
If you want to
since
learn
it's
about
a live
MapReduce,
thing, right? So let's look in the code. We'll make it as a working code. So what is map? First, let's understand that if we have a iterable or a list, so let me create a list of 5 elements, for example. Now what we are going to do is, for example, we have to do the square of each number. So we have a function, let's say square, and we need to do that. And the output result, so let's say I am giving the output result as m1. And so we are learning about the map. What map does is it would apply basically a function on each element, and after applying it will give you. So I will first show you the map function, then I'll show you the alternatives. So let's say if you have a map, this one would be a result of map. So how it works is you will do a map, and then it takes two parameters. First will be your function, second would be your like it returns iterable, and it would take a list. So let me use the lambda function. We can always do it in different ways, so I can also show you. So if you have a lambda and then you say the parameter of lambda is x, and then it is going to do the square of each number, which means it will multiply it by 2, and then this one is your list. So two parameter, first is your list or the original list in question. Second is your lambda function. You can give any function over here, and then you are trying to do map. When you do map, whatever is the element inside it, that would go as a parameter, get doubled up, and then it would be returned. So let's print the result. Now to your surprise, this won't be a list, but it would be the output as map object, right? So what we need to do is we have to basically convert it or cast it inside the list. Now we'll get our answer. See, square of 2 is 4, square of 3 is 9, and likewise. So this is what map function did to us, and we can pass any other direct function as well, apart from lambda, which does the same thing. But let's try to understand what is working behind the scene, and is there any alternative of doing this. So let's say I have mm, basically I have another list which is called as m2. Now I do if x in L, and then what I do here is m2 dot append, and I'll do the same thing here. What we were processing is we will do the square of this number, and then we'll do a print m2. So what essentially will happen here, that each element in this list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be passed to the like will be doubled, like squared up, and then will be added into your answer list, which we call as m2, and then this will be printed. So let's print. See, same result, same output, different ways of doing this. So underneath, this is applying the logic, in the for loop. Another way. Is there any other better way? Because here you have to create another object and then do the loop over and all that. So you could go with the list comprehension in as like M3. So what we are going to do is we will say x in list, whatever your list, you will say for x in list, and whatever so what this guy will do is x will be each time when it will iterate, it will be the same like here, right? Instead of writing it here, what you will do is you will write your core simple logic here, and then you will find the result would be same. So this one would be your map function. All these three ways of doing the same thing, and then the result is same, right? Now coming back here, that instead of lambda, can you find another, like can you pass another function? So let's say diff s square sqr, and then it takes the argument, and what it returns is it would square, do the square, and then it will return you, and then you will pass sqr. Would this work? Let's see. If this first result remains same, which means it is working fine, which it is working fine. Now remember that when I pass the function, I just pass the variable of the function. I did not invoke it like this, because if I invoke this here instead of passing it to map function, it is not going to apply it on each when it iterates on each element. Let's try to do this. A lot of people do this mistake. So it is saying that x is missing. So what is x here? It's nothing, right? So you have to pass the reference. So this completes the map function. If you have any comments who are in the live video, just type me and I'll answer you. Now we will move on to reduce. Before moving to reduce, I want to make it clear that map reduce, what Hadoop does or what's in the MongoDB, it's not exactly the same. Here the map is a little bit different, because if you are using MongoDB or something else, you emit when you do map. So little bit similar concept, wherein you have the data, and on each element you will map it in a certain way and emit it. The reduce is going to collect and collaborate and come up with the reduce summary conclusion or a one pointer. So that is how the typical definition of map reduce, wherein you map things and then you reduce it to one. Reduce here is going to do the same in Python, is we will pass this list, and then it will be reduced to one thing, whatever the conclusion. Let's say if you want to do the addition of all these, right? So you will reduce this list into one addition, like all the summation, we can say summation. So let's start looking in the reduce function. Let me put this down. This thing is all map. Now we will start with reduce. Let's start with reduce. So in this reduce, basically this is not part of the main Python. This is in the func tools. So first requirement is you have to import func tool. Previously it was in the same library, but then the person who wrote Python, basically the inventor, he took it off, and then he said just do the looping, which is much more easy way. So I'll also show you that. First let's understand the reduce. So I would have r1 as the result. I would say reduce, but then this is not there, like the map was there. So this is not standard. So I would say functool.reduce. Now everything seems good. Same, what we are going to do is we will pass the lambda function, and here let me finish this, then I will explain you is why we are doing this. Let's print first, and I have r1 over here. Let's see. So what we did is we added all the elements, but the syntax is you have a function, and then it basically, when you're adding, what you are doing, you will take one number at a time, then you will have the summation of this. So this becomes x, this become y, 3 becomes y. Then all the summation till here will become x, and the next element 4 become y, and then at the end, so this keeps on happening. So doing this same in the for loop would look something like this: for x in your list, and then you can have r2 as the reduced to result, which will be the summation as 0, and then you say r2 plus is equal to, which means r2 plus and then x. Just this much is sufficient. it would do the same thing what reduce is doing here. Let's print and see. If it's the 15, then we are good, right? So this is simple, readable. The same thing is what this guy is doing in the reduce over here. So that is how the the reduce works. So what we understood, let me conclude you. In this video we learned about map reduce. Map function basically, if you and both are applied on a list. The reduce will reduce it to a conclusion, one number. For example, if you have to multiply on all the numbers and get the result, you could do that. Instead of plus, if you say multiply, then whatever are the numbers in the list would be multiplied and you will get the answer. And then this is how, and because this started with 1, the answer was 0, but technically the answer is 120, whatever it was supposed to be here. So reduce will reduce your iterable or a list into one thing based on the operation. You can always pass on the operation as a function to the reduce, like sum, or there is a way. If you want to go deeper, you can check this, but the preferred way is doing through the looping or some other ways for reduce. For map, this is really handy actually. This is very useful because you don't have to iterate over each element, you don't have to generate another list. You just pass your one liner lambda or pass any existing function, and it would be applied and a list would be given in such a simple notation, wherein you will have a map, you will have a function name, and you will pass it to the list. Each element in the list, a map would apply the function which you passed, and then will give you the results. Isn't it simple? So yeah, so I hope you like this, and please like and subscribe my channel and leave your comments with the true and honest feedback. Thank you. My name is Prem Asim Jain, and I would see you in next video where I am going to explain the filter function.